Okay, Itamaksishitsiko, good day. It is the late afternoon of November 9th, 2017 in the lunar cycle Itotstoi when cold arrives, and cold has definitely arrived. The river's icing over, it's 10 degrees below zero, and it's pretty much been like this all week. It's been cold. It's having its impacts. It's Thursday today, and Thursday is the day when I do my weekly updates, which is I'm going to talk about what happened in the life of Rye over this past week that I might not have made mention of in any of my other YouTube videos or anything like that. What are some of the highlights? What are some of the humorous points and turns? And we might as well get right into it. First and foremost, the big happening this week was me doing a complete nosedive on No Sugar November. Now, No Sugar November was my challenge to myself for the month of November, to eat no binges on like candy, just consume zero candy, right? No candy, no cookies, no pastries, no sugary doughy stuff at all, and just reduce the sugar intake hugely if I could, right? This was the idea because I had just come off of Sober October. Sober October went through without a hitch. It was great, and I was really confident that I was ready. Like I'm ready to level up. I'm ready to take the sugar thing head on and stop it in its tracks. Oh, I had underestimated my opponent by a long shot. Let's see. Halloween was Tuesday, so Wednesday was November 1st, the first day of the challenge. I must have described it in my update on Thursday. By Friday, I had fucked it up. I had irrevocably messed it up. It wasn't so bad after Friday, but by Saturday it was really bad. So here's what happened. All right, Mahoney got us tickets to go to this dinner. This was a dinner being hosted by an African Caribbean student group at the University of Lethbridge. And Mahoney's been to a couple of their other functions and stuff. She really enjoys their food and the atmosphere of their the different celebrations that they host and all of this. So she wanted me to go to this one. She has a couple of friends that we're going with, some others from the library that she works at. And so, yeah, we were going. Now, she forewarned me, you know, this food, the African Caribbean food, some of it packs a little heat, right? So it gets a little strong. She forewarned me because she knows I'm not necessarily the best with heat. Like, I love spicy food, I do. I love the you know, the strange heats and stuff, different types of peppers and, you know, roots like wasabis, different types of radishes and stuff. I love that heat stuff, you know, but as much as I love it, I'm really not the best when it comes to consuming it. I panic, you know. I start having a real difficult time and everything, but she had me, you know, she had me prepared. This might be hot. And so we went to go, and we were, you know, pretty much ourselves and our little group of friends from the library. We were pretty much the only non-African Caribbean people there. I mean, there was a couple of others I saw the other side of the room somewhere, but mostly it was just us, like 4 or 5 of us. So it's a little bit uncomfortable, like, not really, but, you know, it just, everybody else seemed to know each other, right? All the African Caribbean students, and we were just there for the food, so which they appreciated. They don't, you know, a couple of different people came up to talk to us and thank us for coming and stuff, and I don't think they get a lot of non-African Caribbeans that come to these events. Any case, we're sitting there waiting for the food to be ready. It's all homemade stuff. It's gonna be good stuff, and when it's ready, they tell us, you know, you can go up and get a plate now. There's a line, so we all go up to get a plate. And the ladies who were serving it, you know, I just told them to serve it all. Like, I wanted some of everything, right? I want to try it all. So they put it all on my plate and everything. I'm happy. I go to grab my my fork, my napkin, my beverage. Now the beverages that they had on hand were like regular Coke, Diet Coke, 7-Up, or it might have been Pepsi's, 7-Up, Brisk, iced tea, you know, sweet iced tea. All of it was 100% like sugar water. And I looked at it and I let it be an excuse. Hey, I let it be an excuse. I was thinking in my head, you know, all they have is pop. I have no choice. I'm gonna have to drink pop. How am I gonna weather this hot food without drinking a beverage? And this is all they have that they're offering. So that's what I gotta take. Now in reality, I could have walked out of the door of the room that we were in, walked out of the door and just down the hallways just a little ways, and I know there's both a drinking fountain where I could have got free water, or there's vending machines where I could have got a bottle of water. There were options. I didn't have to, but I pretended, like in my mind, I pretended like those options didn't exist. I'm gonna have to drink the pop. And really, you know, I don't even drink pop on a normal basis. Throughout October, I drank some Italian soda. Not a lot, but I might have 1 cup of watered down Italian soda. I'd mix it half and half with club soda. I like the blood orange Italian soda, the pomegranate, you know. And so I did have some of that during the sober October. It's part of my sugar binging, you know. But normally I'm not a pop drinker at all, right? Not a soda drinker at all. I don't like the sugar water. It's way too sweet for me. So I normally just avoid it. And this was an occasion where I don't know. I just, like I said, I didn't judge my opponent very well. So I took the pop, sat down, and I started eating. And there was something on my plate. It looked like you know, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, you get the pineapple chicken. You get those deep fried balls of chicken that have the deep fried breading on the outside. It looked like that. That's what I thought it was. But then when I picked it up, I could feel it. It didn't have the right texture when I picked it up. And when I took a bite out of it, what I realized was that this is the most delicious little gob of sugar dough that perhaps I've ever had. It was just the perfect density of a kind of like a donut hole, basically. A special little dense but soft, chewy, doughy donut hole. Deep fried. And again, you know, when I felt it and I knew it wasn't a chicken ball, I could have asked around the other guys, hey, what is this thing anyway, before I bit into it. But no, I kind of had a sense what it was, and I bit anyway. And not only did I bite, but once I tasted it, I gobbled that fucking thing. I just ate it. It was great. It's fantastic. And at that point, I'd definitely gone, you know, over the edge as far as, you know, no sugar November goes, because that, you know, I hadn't even explicitly said I won't have any pop, but I did explicitly say I'm not going to have any candy, and I'm not going to have any doughy pastries that are sugary. And so I broke the rules, and you know, it wasn't bad. I could have excused myself. I could have said, hey, we're at a special event. Sometimes stuff happens when you're being fed by others, you know. You take what you're given, you know. I could have made up some excuse that was good enough in my head to keep going for the month, to keep on my plan, but I didn't. We'll get to that. Any case, The African Caribbean dinner, it was great, man. The food was fantastic. Loved it. They sure do like their rice. I think I had like 4 different colors and flavors of rice. But somewhere in there was this little bits of meat. I don't know if they're pork or what they were, but they had a little kick in them. There must have been a little bit of some kind of pepper added to them or something. They were hot, right? And and so hot that I ended up like turning red and go doing this thing, you know, because my mouth is burning and I'm drinking the 7-Up. And I don't know, I felt pretty funny. Like even my little group, the people that Mahoney had brought from the library, you know, they were like, "What's wrong with this guy? Like, it's not that damn hot, right?" Mahoney's laughing at me. It's like, "You're turning pretty red," and so it was a goofy moment. But in turn, our hosts did have their own goofiness. The first entertainment and the only one that we stuck around to really watch was a guy who was kind of like, it was kind of like karaoke, but not really. You know, in karaoke, it's just the music and you make the words, right? What this guy was doing was he took a rap song, you know, with the music and the words and played it and just sang along to it. And I don't know, it was a little bit odd. You know, I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't the kind of entertainment we expected to see. Mahoney had been to some of their other functions where there was a lot of dance and music and stuff that was pretty legit. But and then we were tired anyway, so you know, it had come at the end of the day for us. So we didn't stick around for the other entertainment. We ended up splitting, going home. So that was Friday. November 3rd. And then Saturday rolls around, and Saturday is UFC 217, right? And so I use this as an excuse too. Like on Tuesday night, you know, October 31st, I wasn't going to stay up till midnight because I just didn't want to screw up my sleep. But I considered like the Sober October to be done at about 9 o'clock at night. I had myself a couple of glasses of wine to celebrate. I didn't have any alcohol on Wednesday. Thursday night, after my jiu-jitsu, which I'll talk about, I had like 2 cans of beer. And then, you know, Friday, no alcohol stuff. And Saturday rolled around and it was the UFC. Like 8 cans of beer. Totally overboard, you know? Totally overboard because I had a reason to. I had the UFC to give me a reason. And then I had a bunch of beer and I made this giant bowl of popcorn with a ton of butter on it, you know, which wasn't part of Sugar November, you know. Butter doesn't count. So I could say I was still in my mind, I was still doing the no sugar November by that time. But it was the alcohol. You know, after I got a few in me, the inhibitions start to go away, and I'm like, that Halloween candy. You know, I already messed things up last night with the little dough glob and the 7-Up. I might as well have some Halloween candy. So I did. I had Halloween candy. I had brownies. I had the like 8 beers. And at that point, I had to admit that I had totally screwed up No Sugar November. It was at that point, you know, it's like you can't go back on it. It's already the betrayal has already occurred, and it's not going to be forgotten. It's done. So I just backed off of the challenge at that point. I'm not going to do the No Sugar November because I screwed it up. It wasn't. If it's not perfect, I throw it away. That's part of my thing. If I don't like it, you know, if I think I could do better, I just throw it away. So I set it away. And since then, you know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, since then, I haven't eaten very good. I've consumed some more alcohol. I've consumed late at night, a little bit of sugar here, a little bit of sugar there. It's not terrible, it's not bad, but I just feel, I don't know, I feel like I let myself down a little bit because I had a challenge to do. I'd done so well with the Sober October one. I thought I could nail this one as well, and it's been a flop. So, back to the drawing board with that. I'm not gonna continue on with the challenge, of course, but I do still have my regular daily game going on where I score myself different points on my health domains, and nutritional health is one of the domains that I score on. This is my salubrious indulgence game that I play, that I created and I play on Facebook. Anyhow, so yeah, it was a flop. No So Good November is done. It's over. Didn't work. I suck. Moving on. What else happened? Oh, UFC 217, awesome, of course. I mean, that was a big deal. There was, out of the fights for the championship fights, the only one that I would have got fairly accurately on predicting if I had done a formal prediction was the TJ Dillashaw fight. I would have had him beating Cody for sure. Maybe not first round knockout stuff, but I'd have had him beating Cody for sure. Or was it second round? I don't know. It's early enough, but yeah, I think they got into second round, didn't they? Anyway, but I thought overall 217 was awesome. Best fight card, I think, for 2017. 2017. Is there a coincidence? Yeah, I loved it. I totally had Joanna beating Rose. Out of all of them, I was most confident in that, and that didn't go down. Hey, I was surprised, and I'm a little bit upset about that because I love the Joanna character, and I love how she's getting, as things go on, as she was winning more and more of her defenses for the belt, she was getting more and more cocky, and she was saying some evil stuff to her opponents. It was getting good. This whole thing, with Rose about how the Boogie Woman's coming for her and stuff, that was awesome. GSP, I didn't have him winning at all. Like, I thought for sure he was. No way he's beating Bisping. Just because he'd taken the time off, and before he was taking the time off, things looked like they were going south for him anyway. It was time to take a step back from MMA, maybe retire. But no, he comes around, moves up a weight grade and weight class, and wins, has the belt. So awesome, I guess, for GSP. That's cool. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now for moving forward. So yeah, I really loved UFC 217. I did get a new jiu-jitsu partner, a training partner, and we train Thursday evening. We're going to train again tonight. We were going to train Sunday, but I wasn't feeling up to it. I was having an allergy attack, and my eye was like swollen, and so called off the Sunday. Haven't introduced the video component into the training with the new guy yet, and I probably won't for a bit because he's brand new. Like, he's never trained martial arts before, and so I'm sure he feels awkward. And he's my size. He's well, as far as weight goes, we're the same weight, but I do feel like I'm bigger than him. It feels like I'm bigger. It looks like I'm bigger. But when he asked me what my weight was, because he was feeling the same thing, he said, we're both at around 180, so we're about the same. But it's definitely a different kind of training for me, working with somebody who's my size, because I'm used to training with the big prairie boys, right? So that has had an effect, I think, where someone my size is really, like, as far as grappling goes, it's much easier to kind of manipulate them, I feel like, you know, especially completely unskilled guys. Note that part, right? Because there's guys that know what they're doing that'll walk in and shut me down, like, with no problem, you know. So anyway, got a new training partner. Eventually you'll probably be seeing videos coming out of that, but I'm not going to introduce the video component right away because I want him to get comfortable first and get some techniques under his belt, so that we can have some exciting, a little bit of contest, right? A little bit of contest and such as we're training. It's cold, and that's been a problem. And it's a problem even for the jiu-jitsu because my garage is not heated. So going into jiu-jitsu tonight, we're going to start at 10 degrees below zero. So we're going to have to do some serious warm-ups. And then we're going to have to work hard. Yeah, but, you know, that's what I got to work with. I haven't been running this week. I have, like, I did maybe a couple of runs before the serious snow came. And then after the snow came, it's like I've been waiting for the snow to go away. It's not going to go away. It's winter. I got 7 lunar cycles of this to look forward to. So I need to just bite the bullet and you know, put on the right number of layers or whatever, and get out and start running and doing some of my training outside and such like I normally do. Just wussing out this first week of the real cold. Didn't do much of anything. Some body weight exercises around the house and stuff. Not much. My upcoming training montage Sunday or whatever for the last, you know, documenting the last 2 weeks is going to be pretty thin, I think. What else is going on? Other than that, just been doing my work for Lethbridge College, doing my research work. It's going well. Been meeting with the different stakeholder institutions, the high schools that feed into the college, and looking at what we collectively would like to do around trying to increase retention rates of Indigenous students in that transitional first year at the college. It's a it's a difficult project because the students, the learners have, you know, these constellations of barriers and challenges and stuff that they face that we've known Indigenous post-secondary students face these challenges. We've known it for decades, but a lot of it is so outside of you know, the institution's ability to do anything about. I don't know, I don't want to go into thickly talking about that right now. That'll come down the road maybe. Right now we're already 23 and a half minutes into this brief update, so I probably should just wrap it up here. And that's been basically my week, other than the other aspects of it that I've already posted about, already created videos about. So yeah, I'll keep it at that for now. Next week, Thursday, I will have flown to Oregon. I'm leaving Wednesday, flying to Oregon, visiting with my relatives, my parents and my brother out that way. So I don't know whether I'll do my update video on Wednesday as I'm traversing through different airports. Or I might wait till Thursday and do it when I'm at my folks' place. And but there should be some adventures coming up. That'll be a couple updates down the road. This next week though, I just gotta crank and do as much work as I can for my research project and try to get my my nutrition and stuff squared away without clinging to having to have a fancy rhyming month name thing to go with it. All right, Keromatsin Uchboa.